Let's get to a topic that a lot of listeners have sent in questions about, and there's a couple things here I have. I have some audio from Tony Khan at the scrum afterwards.
Oh, good Lord.
I must say he looks put together.
What time did that scrum start?
I don't know, but he seems like he doesn't look as wacky as he usually does, so credit to him there for looking like he's together. But he spoke about something, he was asked a question about something that there may be something to, and let's talk about it, and I have a few other things here about it. Let's go to this audio. I'm not sure who asked the question. We'll find out now.
Mark Hoke, 1015 FM, Las Vegas. How are you feeling about other companies scheduling events on top of and around yours on a consistent basis?
It's pretty consistent. I'd say it's the most consistent event head-to-head scheduling I've seen since Jim Crockett Promotions. Saw a lot of scheduling that went that way. And I can tell you this will go a lot differently than that did, Mark. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you all being here.
Well, there it is.
How is it going to go any differently than it did before? He can't do anything about it.
Before we even address that, news breaking also in the last day or so. All in Texas, of course, July 12th, 2025, 2 p.m. Central start time. WWE has announced the NXT Great American Bash will take place on July 12th at Center Stage in Atlanta, and it will be going head-to-head with All In Texas. This is on a weekend where there's also Saturday night's main event, as well as the all-female pay-per-view or premium live event, Evolution. So, what do you think about the idea that WWE's aggressively running against Tony Khan whenever he has anything going on? I mean, they did it here. There was an NXT event this weekend as well, but what do you think about that?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, he's not going to do anything about it because he can't, because they can do that. It's not like he can file suit against them. You can't run. So it's not going to turn out any differently. And to be honest, that's not just running house shows or in the same market or, that type of thing. That's not necessarily what killed Jim Crockett, nor even the running the pay-per-view or the free TV opposite the pay-per-view. That didn't help any. It hurt some, but that wasn't specifically all of it. He's going to have to put up with that. Now, here's the thing. I don't think they're going to do it, if it doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever for them to do something. If they're running Center Stage, which the rent is negligible, and they're going to broadcast through their own facilities and et cetera. So they're not spending a ton of money, and they're going to make money on that show, but it's going to be on the air against the big pay-per-view from Texas. Whether that AEW has a small and devoted diehard fan base that's going to buy those pay-per-views and et cetera, I don't know whether that's going to have anything in the terms of effect on their core business or not, the big pay-per-view versus NXT. But WWE can and probably will, if they run head-to-head against them in a specific market, take some ticket sales away from them, because how much money do people have? So you knock off some of the casuals, but still, for the people who want to see AEW, they're going to pick that over WWE. For everybody else, they're going to pick WWE because they're not even really going to know about AEW. But it's just, if he thinks he's not going to win this, he's not going to somehow see, I told you we'd draw a bigger gate or, do a bigger gross on the show or whatever. He's not going to win anything. So he shouldn't really be saying it's not going to come out the same way. I can see him saying, well, that shows that they're concerned about us. But I think now at this point, they're just peppering a downed opponent. Now they want to have a little fun and maybe, run out the clock and tire their guy out, which I still think that many of, and in hindsight, can anybody prove me wrong? that the WWE bid up several of the talents that Tony won just to make him spend more fucking money. So that's what I think about that.
In terms of victories, you could always have small victories. And Crockett was able to, with Turner, do Clash of the Champions against WrestleMania 4, and then that started a trend. What could Tony do right now if he wanted to say, okay, I'll do something to you guys? What could he do to affect them and one of their money-making schemes?
There isn't anything. See, the people forget that in the Monday Night Wars and in the 80s, with the Clash of Champions going against the pay-per-views or whatever, the companies were fairly close. There was a period in between the 80s and the Attitude Era where they were miles away. And when WCW signed Hulk Hogan and didn't make an appreciable dent in any type of business aspect of anything the WWF was doing. When they're close, you can do shit like that. You can run the same market. You can run opposing pay-per-views and TV specials, and you can have a direct impact on the other side. People forget that, yes, the Clash of Champions was the response for Vince getting Crockett knocked off a pay-per-view, but the Clash of Champions, it took a significant number of million people away from potentially watching WrestleMania at a point in time where you couldn't just easily watch both things or order this and that. And so there was damage being done on both sides, and in the Attitude Era also, because the sides were close. This is not close. What the fuck is where is SummerSlam? I've gone blank now this year. The 2-night SummerSlam.
I think it's over here in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, so yeah, so where is what's Tony Khan going to run to hurt SummerSlam in Jersey? Huh?
A free show in the parking lot.
A free show, and he couldn't hurt SummerSlam if he ran a free show in the parking lot of the goddamn stadium they're having SummerSlam in.
You can only hope to hurt SummerSlam really with the locals if you do that, because if people are flying in, and there's a lot of those people, they're going to SummerSlam.
That's what I'm saying, is that there's nothing at the point that the WWE's at right now. There's nothing that Tony can do to put something against one of their big shows, either pay-per-view or television or whatever, to hurt it that badly. Because Tony's television show on Saturday nights does record low ratings on free cable network television whenever they do a fucking pay-per-view in the WWE. It kills the fucking viewership. So no, I don't think that Tony can do anything, really. Do you? What would it be?
I mean, he's got money, and he could use his money quicker and easier than they can.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is he's got enough money. He could run some other type of event against the WWE shows and probably do more damage, because his wrestling shows aren't going to damage their crowds or their pay-per-views. Maybe if he brought in a goddamn professional football team or something. Or maybe if he just, hired fucking thugs off the street to go and beat the wrestlers up, that might be a better spending of money than booking a goddamn wrestling show against them, because he can't get as many people as he had before to just watch his shows when there's no opposition. They're just on. So
should anyone who's running AEW right now, anyone who's running opposition to WWE, a company that cares enough about you, they're trying to run against you every chance they have, should he make the ticket prices an issue? Should he exploit the fact that WWE is just trying to take all your money for everything? Actually show how much it costs to go to one versus the other. Should that be a part of the marketing?
I don't know if I don't know if I'd break down a lot of details. You might be doing advertising for the goddamn for the other side, but I think making an issue of, hey, we're not only providing great world-class wrestling, but also we don't want to, can't say, rape our fans. We don't want to price gouge our fans. We want everybody to be able to come and experience the wonderful live events that we put on or whatever the fuck. So yes, some way or another, you could indict the WWE for just being a ridiculous amount of money to spend on any entertainment. But then again,
You want to know how you hurt WWE? You have Shad Khan offer Nick Khan $50 million to jump to AEW.
oh, just himself.
Just himself. Come run this company for my son.
God damn it.
That's the one thing that it would start a trend. It wouldn't happen overnight. Even if Tony Khan quickly got it, everything's going to take time from this point forward. But you need someone who can come up with the plan and come up with the revenue sources.
Well, and now, but how much money is Nick Khan making now? We say $50 million like that's just fantasy land, but he might be close to that right now. But if there was an amount of money that Shad would give Tony, that Tony could say, Nick Khan, come and run this company for me, then we would be having a different conversation about whether or not Tony could do anything to disrupt the WWE.
Yeah. And you know what else?
And
Tony and Nick would become best friends.
well, and they wouldn't have to change the monograms in the bathroom.
I guess not.
But I mean, and that's the thing, because I wasn't even thinking grand enough. Remember when they were first starting out, and I said, "My God, your father's a billionaire." Instead of signing all these goddamn goofballs from the Outlaws, go after buyout contracts of people that are not affiliated with the WWE, but under any other contract. Any other promoter ought to be open for business to talk to a billionaire. And he could have bought Jacob Fatu at that point in time.
He could have bought any of these companies for a few $1 million.
But yeah, but that's the point is that if he really was going to spend the money to combat and or eventually take over from the WWE, then he would have gone for quality talent at the start. And I wasn't even thinking about if you'd have made a play for Nick Khan. Come here, run this whole thing, hire people to book it and write it and produce the television show and shoot the show. And I'll give you the money and I'm going to have fun because I own everything, but you're going to run me a real company. While Vince was still over there, and if this had been done 5 years ago, we might be having a different conversation about who the number one company was.
Because I also think AEW kind of needs that image change. I think if you all of a sudden showed there was someone serious running it, it would change the perception that some fans have with AEW, but also that a lot of wrestlers have gained with AEW since AEW first started. And you first saw Tony and you heard about him. And then you've kind of watched him over the last 5 years. Like I said, he looks really put together here at the scrum. And hopefully that's a good thing because he has to win over wrestlers who have heard about chaos, a wacky boss,
strange hugs,
everyone doing whatever they want on these shows, production meeting issues, like all these things. All that perception has to change. And even if Tony changed it, the perception is it's still Tony. And it always will be. Again, we're hypothetically thinking here, but...
Well, yeah, but see, that's the thing is that how many sponsors or, co-promotions have they missed out on or that we haven't heard about because there were no real serious people there at the company when one of the Buckaroo's wives was doing merchandise, and does Tony talk to the sponsors himself? If so, who is it? And do major companies think, what the fuck is going on here with these people? If there was a Nick Khan influence where rational, serious, legitimate, experienced people that do these type of things were doing these type of things with all that money behind them, I mean, that's been the whole thing. They've always been funded. We didn't realize at the start that Tony would spend literally hundreds of millions of dollars to get to this point. But if they had use the money that they had access to from the start instead of trying to fulfill Tony's adolescent fantasies. Pick the right 8 people to put on the talent roster and the 2 people to put in charge, and they pick the 6 people that they're going to work. If it had been put together with no thought to money, but thought to professionalism, this could have been a whole different story.
Well, we'll see what happens going forward with that. Of course, if you're Tony Khan, you may want to sue.
Well, in that case, he's missed the boat because the man that he should have called a long time ago to sue the stork that brought him for carrying dope is
Jesus
already
Christ.
otherwise occupied
Jesus.
helping find folks in the cult of Cornette deal with legal difficulties that I'm talking about this man. Play the music.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. He'll sue the rest.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that stork suing son of a bitch, Stephen P. New, over there in the mountaineer state of West Virginia, will sue who? That's Stephen P. New. He'll sue you or anybody else to get even. Get even with Stephen. Whether or not you've been wrongfully terminated or harmed or poisoned or given cancer or crotch rot in some kind of way, these horrible, heartless corporations, these horrible jail conditions in the state of West Virginia, the opioid addicted baby, Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 877-50-STEVE has been helping people out from way back, and they can help you too if you call them on the phone. Stephen's waiting to take your call right now. He's got nothing else to do but help people in their time of need. 877-50-STEVE. That fucking stork.